All week, we have been helping you with your New Year resolutions. Yesterday, we started getting you financially fit with 6 steps to get you out of debt. Now we're focusing on saving for retirement. CPA Adam Wolf, owner of Wolf Retirement Navigation, joins us again this morning. Adam, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it.
Great for having me. Thank you.
All right, so let's look at some mistakes in particular, because I think we all can learn from our mistakes, and it will help us in our guide to maybe try to start retiring, depending upon our viewers' age, when that should happen. So first and foremost, do you find that a lot of times people say, okay, I am going to retire, and they sort of have this plan in their head, but nothing's written down?
Sure. That can happen at a lot of different ages, but if you're about 5 to 10 years away from retirement, having a written plan to spell out, taking an inventory of everything you've saved, what kind of sources of income you may have, whether it's a pension, Social Security, putting it all on paper, IRAs, 401ks, to say, how do you want to grow it for the next 5 to 10 years, to accumulate it, to save for the next 10 years, but also how to turn that retirement into, or those working years into the retirement years where you're going to need to draw off this money, and in when and how, and tax effects and risk and everything that we have to take into account.
Is there a certain age at which people should be thinking about retirement? And I know I'm setting myself up, because you're like, you should have already been thinking about it as soon as you get out of college, before you get into college, in which case I'm really in trouble.
Yeah, so ages are different for different people, but most folks, as we get closer to our 60s and in our 60s, that's when most folks retire, whether we're forced to retire through our employer letting us go, or we have saved and planned and we're prepared to not have to work anymore, and now instead of a paycheck, rely on the sources of income that we have saved and that we are structured for.
So do you find that the biggest obstacle for many people is this sort of feeling of having to keep up with the Joneses?
That happens a lot, and that's one of the largest mistakes we can make, because if you're looking across the street or down the road at what people have, like some of the most successful clients I have are folks that you would never be able to tell that they've saved enough, whether it's $500,000, $1 million for retirement, because of the way they live. They're in 20-year-old cars or 10-year-old cars, and it's the way to pay yourself first, live within your means, and have a successful future.
And a lot of that, though, do you find that drains on the resources is kind of funding the kids, and first of all, their lifestyle, and then second of all, college.
Yeah,
Expensive.
College is expensive. I mean, I have one daughter, and she's expensive, and so I can imagine with multiple kids. But as parents, we want to focus on our kids first, obviously. But when it comes to retirement, what I typically tell people is save for yourself and then your kids second, because the kids may be able to bail you out in the future, but most of the time they're not able to.
Okay, so if you have a retirement plan then basically sort of already in place, are there then, I'd like to talk about maybe some things that maybe can be some pitfalls. There are some plans that maybe have too much risk, like I'm thinking about 401k. When I've been here at the station almost 21 years, when I signed up for 401k, I was maybe a little riskier, in my investment options, but really over the years, I've had to change those as I get older.
Correct. So there's two different worlds that we live in when we're in our retirement or our financial years. The accumulation stage of life, those are the times that we're saving for when? For retirement. We're going to need that money to live off of. That second stage of life is going to be where we want to preserve, take less risk, still get growth out of what we own, but the focus is not necessarily on accumulation and growth. The focus needs to be on how do we take this stuff that you have and turn it into income that we live off of in retirement when we no longer have that paycheck.
So do you think that people then who have a retirement plan really need to take a closer look also to see not only, what's risky, what's not, based on their age, but also fees maybe that they could be paying and they don't realize it?
Almost every time I look at some of these plans, whether they're 401k plans or you're with another advisor and the advisory plans, these fees are out of control, and a lot of this stuff is hidden. They're excessive fees. So, and most people don't understand it or can't, they give you these big books and they say, go look it up and this is how much you should be paying. But I have seen it tens of thousands of dollars saved in retirement over a 20, 30, 40-year retirement by saving 0.5%. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that can add up over time, and that's more money in your pocket.
Adam, great advice. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Appreciate it. If you missed any of our reports, by the way, helping you with your New Year resolutions, we have posted them all on our website, news4jax.com.